Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Shop Talk, friends. Today we are talking about how to find and use your voice through entrepreneurship. We're going to be talking about how entrepreneurship it does require your voice. If you're a service-based entrepreneur, if you're a knowledge entrepreneur, an info entrepreneur, a digital, online entrepreneur, if you are looking to get into thought leadership, speaking, writing, whatever, these things require us to have a voice. One of the things that service-based entrepreneurs, or sort of anyone in that category of entrepreneur, business owner that I just talked about, gets wrong is that they view themselves as like a corporation, right? So if you think of something like a Coca-Cola, I don't know, a Nike, whatever, a Netflix, they're a faceless corporation. You don't know who is behind the scenes. You might have an affinity for the brand. You like it because of certain things, quality of product, what they stand for, values, things like that. But it's a brand. It's a corporation. When you are a service-based entrepreneur or a thought leader, an infopreneur, that kind of thing, people are not buying a corporate brand, they're buying you, right? You are the product. You are the thing that people want to connect into, want to know your values, want to know what you stand for, and want to get to know your personality, right? And so it is imperative that you do find your voice as a service-based entrepreneur. You do find your voice as a thought leader, especially, but that can be super scary if we're new to that. And so entrepreneurship requires it, but also it gives you the opportunity to tap into it. Even if you had never considered that before, I find a lot of folks, especially service-based entrepreneurs or online entrepreneurs, because they're different, but I find a lot of folks in that space, they are so focused on doing the work, delivering the work, creating the products, right? Doing the thing. But that's not really, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, that's not all you do. In fact, if you want to build a business and a brand, I would say that's not even the most important thing you do. It's important if you don't have a quality product, if you're not a likable person, if you are not doing the thing, well, sure, people aren't going to purchase, right? They may purchase, but they may not find value in your work. You're not going to build that brand that's got that impeccable reputation of somebody who is damn good at what they do and delivers on what they promise to deliver. So that is important, but is it the most important? Kind of not really. Business development is going to be much more important. How you are out there building a brand and developing new business, opening doors to new opportunities is going to be really important. And a big part of that is you showing up, finding your voice, standing up for what you believe in, right? And that's where entrepreneurship not only requires it, but also pushes you into that space. And so if you are somebody who is new to finding your voice, new to sharing your values, to figuring out what you stand for, man, entrepreneurship gives you such a great opportunity for that. So that being said, friends, hello. My name is Lindsay Johnson, aka the Radical Connector. If you are new here, welcome to our monthly shop talks and to my channel. If you are coming back, welcome back. Glad you're here. My whole thing is helping service-based entrepreneurs, infopreneurs, online entrepreneurs, helping you understand how to do business development, how to move beyond practitioner into business owner. I work with folks who are ready to get serious about building a business, not just playing in sort of that self-employed hobby, I'll take what comes my way, oops, that was a total fluke space, which, don't get me wrong, it's a great place to start. But when you're ready to really build a business, to really build a brand, that's where I get most excited to work with all of you. I got a few talking points here. Now, normally we have a ton of people on, but I'm going to guess it's the summer. We might have to skip August. I have a feeling we're going to skip August because typically in the summer, things slow down in my world, and rightly so. I want you to go have a life. I don't want you to be working all summer. I don't work a lot. Like literally after this, I have to send one quick email and then I'm going to have bubble tea at the beach with a friend. And then after that, ice cream at the park with a friend. I don't want you working in the summer as much as possible. I want you with your friends, with your family, in nature, like living your best life. So that being said, there's nobody here right now to engage. So it may be, I'm going to see if people come on, and if you come on, we'll engage with you. Otherwise, I'm going to share my talking points, and then we're going to wrap it up so we can all go enjoy the sunshine. And yeah, I think we're going to skip August. So that being said, I want to quickly shout out, if you happen to be seeing this before next week, before the 15th, or, yeah, before the 15th, I'll say, I am running a 3-day accelerator, July 15, 16, and 17, and it is focused on building your email list funnel. Okay. So that is your lead magnet, your landing pages, your welcome email sequence, and a marketing strategy to help you actually promote your lead magnet and build your email list. This is important for any service-based entrepreneur, obviously online entrepreneur, thought leader, whatever. It is really important that you are building your email list, building your community, because for a lot of folks, that is where selling happens. But also it's like, we kind of talk about how your email list becomes your business. Like, that is your customer. Those are your opportunities. Those are your cheerleaders, your super fans, people who are telling the world about you, right? I laugh whenever I wear this shirt. Friends, if you notice when I wear this shirt, when I'm on camera, I play with it a lot. The way that the sensory, it's constantly, I'm like, stop touching me. Anyone else relate to that? I was watching a replay back the other day, and I saw myself, I kept fidgeting, and I'm so aware of it now, how I fidget when I wear this top. I was hoping by unzipping it, I would fidget less, but it's driving me bonkers. That's all right. We're going to get through it. So anyways, you want to have an email list. It is the most important thing. The number one regret I hear from entrepreneurs every time. I wish I had taken building my email list seriously. I wish I had started sooner. And so we're going to be talking about that next week in this accelerator. I'm going to be getting you to whip up a funnel and then start marketing it and start testing it. So if you want to come, you can come join us live, scan that QR code. If you are watching this after the fact, I will tie this QR code to your ability to access the replays. You can buy the replays. It will be not the same price as doing it live. It'll be at a reduced price, but you'll get access to the full training, the live Q&As, all the bonuses. You'll get access to all of that. So go ahead and scan the QR code whenever you're watching this, if you are somebody who wants to get serious about building your email list. If you're wondering why I'm doing it now in July and not in September, well, it's because I want you to have this thing built, because for a lot of entrepreneurs, come September, it is a busy, busy season. People are back from vacation. They're ready to do their thing. They're looking for you. So let's get this funnel set up, so when you hit September, it's already going and you can just start filling it with people. All right, scan that code whenever you're ready. I'm going to throw it into the chat as well, so you can check this out. Find my chat. There you go. All right, so let's talk about the notes that I have here prepared for us, and let's dive into it today. So first of all, you are not alone is my very first thought. I started this conversation with, do you struggle to use your voice? Are you afraid to use your voice? Are you afraid of being canceled or looking silly or getting it wrong? Do you not know what you want to say? Maybe you don't know what you stand for and you're still figuring that out. Maybe you think, oh, nobody cares what I have to say. Or there's a million people already saying this. The world doesn't need one more person, right? There's all these thoughts that go through our head. Same with, one of the big ones for me is I get overwhelmed. There's so much I want to say. And I'm like, where do I start? Side note, you just start. Let's take a quick diversion for a second, or digression. If you ever get to that place of, I'm so overwhelmed, I have so much I want to say, where do I start? Or I'm so overwhelmed, there's so much I have to do, I don't know where to start. Can I tell you, if you stop looking at time as linear when it comes to what you're creating, what you're talking about, specifically and especially your content, time isn't linear. You will post something now that 2 years from now will pop up on someone's algorithm, right? So time isn't linear when it comes to content and comes to algorithms. What is more important is relatability and consumability and, quite frankly, bingeability, right? And so if you feel that overwhelm, what do I start with? Doesn't matter. Just start. Okay, so back to this. You are not alone. Many entrepreneurs feel these things, right? Oh, there's so many people already talking about this. Who needs one more voice? We do, because I guarantee you bring a perspective, a lived experience, a way of phrasing it that will be relatable to someone that they couldn't hear the same way when that message came from someone else. Okay. We need you. I always say this to folks. There is so much more need than people serving that need in our world. Well, maybe except for AI. Okay. But there is so much more need than people serving that need. We need your voice. Another thing that we hear, right? I already talked about it. I don't know where to start. Just start. Time isn't real when it comes to algorithms. It's not linear. Just get started. All right. The other thing that we hear all the time is like, I'm afraid of being canceled. I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing. All right. This is a nuanced point, right? This idea of being afraid of being canceled or being afraid of getting it wrong. I guess what I would say to that is, number one, do a little research. Listen to people who are in these spaces talking, right? Hear what they're saying. See if you are missing something and need to shift your perspective around something, right? And go, okay, how can I phrase this in a way that is this embodied? This is what is true for me. This is how I see things. This is what I want to share with the information that you gather from other sources, right? And if somebody pushes back, if somebody calls you out or calls you in, don't get defensive. Take a chance to, take a beat. Even if you say, thank you so much, I'm going to reflect on this. I'll get back to you soon in the comments section. Take a beat. Don't react. Don't defend. Take a beat. Take a moment to think about it. Take it 2 weeks. Take a month, whatever, right? And allow yourself to be a human who doesn't have all the information, who doesn't have the same lived experiences as everyone else, and is able to elevate and update your perspective and your way of looking at things. The other thing is, don't assume because somebody is pushing back at you that they're also, right and you're wrong and a terrible person. Sometimes people push back because that's their own projection of their own stuff, right? And so you want to really take that moment to go, is this me or is this them? There are so many times where people in my comment sections will push back on things. And at first, that first instinct for me is to go, oh my gosh, like I remember we had one of our shop talks before. What was it about? Oh, I don't remember the specific shop talk, but I made a comment about how I used to do, well, probably still do, 30 calls a week, right? 30 calls a week, sales calls, networking calls, whatever. And people panic when they hear that. And I go, well, a 30-minute call, spread over, maybe let's say I do 6 calls a day over 5 days a week at 30 minutes each. That's 3 hours. That's 3 hours of calls. I can do 3 hours of calls is nothing, right? If you're working a 5, 6, 7, 8 hour day in your business, right? So that's what I did. And I talked about that from the perspective of kind of getting real with the business building activities that we're doing that will drive our business forward versus the ones that aren't. And somebody commented that they were autistic and they know I'm not being ableist, but it comes off as ableist because people don't have that time. And this person didn't have that kind of capacity and that kind of spoons, right, to be able to do it. And at first I felt really bad. I was like, oh my gosh, am I being ableist? This, that, and the other. And I did comment that, because I think it was from a clip. It was like a 30-second clip or minute clip from the full talk. And I did comment and said, we talked about all of those things. Go watch the full video, right? But in that moment, I felt so freaking bad. I felt so bad. But then I took some time. It took me maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And where I kind of came to on that, because I went and watched that part of the full shop talk again, and at no point did I say, you have to do that. If you don't do that, you're going to fail. If you don't do that, you're lazy, you're a bad person. I shared my experience and the way I contextualized how I structured and prioritized my time, right? And that is open to interpretation. You can take that information and make it make sense for you. And in fact, I say that over and over, make it make sense for you. You need to build your business based on your capacity, your skills, your needs, your goals, right? And so that's an example of somebody who wasn't calling me out. Like they were just, it triggered for them. It hit a nerve in them and they were expressing that. But it's important to understand that was about them. And there's a thing that's going to happen, friends, when you're using your voice, when you're sharing content, when you're speaking up, people are not going to hear you. People are going to misunderstand because we are all hearing and listening things through our own filters, our own paradigms, our own perspectives, our own traumas, our own insecurities, right? And so that is something that you have to kind of get okay with, and that comes over time. You will get okay with that, right? But that is what happens. People are going to hear what they want to hear. I remember watching, I know I keep digressing. I was watching a really great video and they were posing a question. And I went into the comment sections. I was so curious what people were going to say. Nobody answered the question. Everybody was fully projecting and unloading their own stuff, right? And so again, you just have to be okay with people not hearing you. They're hearing their inner stuff through you, right? So this was that person. Their own inner stuff was coming up. They were misconstruing what I said in their own brain and then kind of projecting that back. And again, not a bad person. We all do it. I've done that a million times. Someone will say something and it pisses me off, and then when I kind of calm down, I'll be like, well, what is this bringing up in me? Insecurity, shame, guilt, right? Like, what is this bringing up in me? That's the opportunity to do a little internal work. Okay. So I say all that to say that, yes, sometimes people are going to project onto you, and it's important to take a step back and go, is this about me or is this about them? And that doesn't mean that we attack back, right? I will typically handle things as graciously as I can. Thank you so much for bringing this up. That's such a great point. Like, I don't try to change people's minds. I recognize when that's about them and not about me, but I check in to make sure I didn't do something that wasn't cool. And if I did do something that wasn't cool, then I own that. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I absolutely see it from your perspective. I was missing that piece of information. Like, I'll do better, There's actually, I wonder if I have it up. Oh, shoot, I don't have it up. There's this really great podcast that I was a guest on. This is before my surgery. Unfortunately, it came out when I was in the hospital in the midst of my surgery, so I didn't promote it very well. I'm starting to do that now. But it was talking about compulsory heterosexuality and the lesbian continuum. And we were talking about gender. And the podcast host had assumed that I was always okay with gender and understood gender and was accepting of all genders. I was like, no. I used to not be. I was accepting, but I didn't understand. And a lot of that was tied to my own gender confusion, right? And so, when you have this internalized stuff, it's so easy to project it out there. And so I had this very real moment of saying, no, in my externally, yes, I would, okay, that's what you're telling me is a man or is a woman or is a whatever. I didn't even know non-binary was a thing back then. This is what it is. Okay, I don't understand it, but I can accept it and I can respect it, right? But no, I had to go on this journey to understand gender, right? And then challenge my own fears, insecurities, my fact that I'm non-binary and I've been trying to force myself to be a woman my whole life, even though that never fit for me and always made me feel angry and uncomfortable and lost, right? Man, we are digressing so much. But my point is that we all get things wrong. We all see things wrong because we are raised in a certain culture. We are raised with certain beliefs, and that stuff requires unpacking. That stuff requires hearing from other people, right? Learning from other people, doing the internal work to make that make sense, right? Or heal that part of us or whatever, okay? So if somebody calls you out or calls you in, it's okay to get defensive. Please just don't get publicly defensive, okay? Don't get publicly defensive. Get defensive internally. Fine. That's a normal reaction. That's the way our brains are wired, right? To keep our sort of structures in our head safe, right? But give yourself the space to go learn from other people, hear from other people, see where you're maybe getting it wrong or misunderstanding, and then grow, evolve, right? So I say all this to say, everybody feels this way. It's very normal to be afraid of being canceled, to think you're, just another drop in the ocean and why bother saying anything, or to have that fear of looking silly. But all of that stuff is such a rich playing ground for getting to know yourself, for challenging your long-held beliefs or paradigms or perspectives and opening up, evolving, becoming bigger and more expansive and more inclusive, right? So let finding your voice, using your voice, be something that pushes you into becoming an even bigger version of yourself. Next point, voice does not equal volume. You don't have to be loud or extroverted to be heard, okay? You just need to show up in a way that feels aligned with you. And this is something I love saying it, but I know that people are putting their own projections on it, so I don't say it anymore. But I used to say all the time, I want to work with people who want to get loud. And people hear loud and they think extroverted, aggressive, yelling at the camera, talking a million miles a minute. What I really mean is visible. I want to work with people who want to be visible, right? They have something to say and they want to say it. My brain likes the word loud because it simplifies it for me, but I get that people don't get that, right? So I change my language. Change your language. Anyways, you don't have to be loud, extroverted, aggressive. If I'm on, like, let's say I'm scrolling, I'm like doing a little Instagram time or TikTok time or whatever, and I'm scrolling and someone's like, hey, like immediately no. I hate that. Their faces in the camera, they're yelling, they're talking a million, done. Go away. Get out of my hair. It's so stressful, right? You don't have to be that person. If you're somebody who is more reserved, you talk a little more slowly, great. You're a little more introverted. Maybe you want to do faceless content. Maybe it's just like you're showing B-roll or footage of you walking at the park and you're talking over it. Maybe you're doing slides on YouTube instead of making actual like talking head videos. Maybe it's written and it's no voice and face at all, right? Whatever that looks like for you, do it. Again, I'm going to reinforce. You get to do things your way. I'm a big believer in where there's a will, there's a way. My way and your way can be very different, and that's great. So if there's a will, you want to do this thing, right? Find a way that works for you. The next thing, you get to decide, right? There's no one way to use your voice. Like I just said, speaking up might mean writing blogs, sharing a video, talking in small groups, making art. That's something that I'm exploring. You want to? I'm so nervous. I'm starting to get back into my writing habit. I'm a writer. I love writing. I used to write poems and short stories and little plays, and I'm such a writer, but I have had my head so far into my business for so many years now, as is required when we're building a business and building a brand. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start bringing that in. I have somebody working on some fun branding. She's an artist that I love, and she's working on some fun digital branding for me. And I'm going to like move into this direction of like teaching myself how to make digital art with my computer using Adobe. I've always wanted to draw. I have so much in here that I want to see, and I usually use words to express that, but I want to start like developing the skill of being able to creatively draw that and express that. And I'm just going to go right for digital. There's nothing wrong with making it easy. I don't have to go get blend. I tried that, blending different pencil types and different erasers and blenders and doing all, and it bogged me down. It slowed me down. I didn't enjoy that process. And so I was like, yeah, but you know what? Go make digital art. You did that in high school back when that was like a new thing. Like, go make digital art. You like it. It's fun. And so I'm going to teach myself that, get back into writing. I'm excited to kind of like have some more of my creativity, my artistry, my writing, all that stuff out in the world. And I'm excited to like do it for myself, to do it for myself. And so that's what I mean, where it's like, you get to decide how you express yourself. It's whatever you want. It's whatever you want. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Do what you want to do in your way. Visibility triggers vulnerability. The fear of being judged, canceled, misunderstood, right? We just talked about this. This is real, right? But so is the power of using your voice to build community, to call out to people who resonate with what you're saying, who are saying, yes, I think those things too. Thank you so much for saying it out loud. How many times have you watched a piece of content, read something, heard something, and thought, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so glad someone's saying this. This is exactly how I feel or exactly what I think. What is the difference between that person and you, right? They've just found their voice. They found the courage to put themselves out there, right? Even, you know what, I want to back it up for a second, because I was kind of criticizing. I wasn't meaning to criticize, but I think it came off as a criticism. People that talk really close to the camera, really loud and really fast. I don't want that to feel like a criticism. That is a style that people like to do, and people like to experience, and that's fine. Not everything is for everyone. That's another thing that I am really tapping into. It's okay if you don't like me. If you don't like what I have to say, if you don't like my style, that's fine. Right? We can't be everything to everyone, and not everything is for us, and not everyone is for us. That's another reason why, yes, we need your voice, because you bring a different perspective, right? So when I get back to this, finding your style, not just your voice, but how you talk, how you present, how you create, how you put yourself out there, that is going to attract the people that resonate with that. You're going to be building that community. And friends, we talk a lot about this in my world. Community is what will save this world. Community is what we need, right? You've probably heard this saying, no one's coming to save us, right? We have to save ourselves. And that starts with community. And we have lots of different communities in our lives that serve different purposes, right? That we pour different things into and get things out of, right? So one of the things that when we're creating content, we have to stop looking at or shift our perspective around, is that it's not about you. It's about what you're saying and who that resonates with and who gets pulled in, right? I started that other account, in 2023, when I was taking my rest year from the Radical Connector, and I started that other brand, Fantastical Fatty, on TikTok. And it really, I think like every creator will say, it started as a way for me to process my own stuff and to express the thoughts I have and to engage in the kinds of content that I wanted to keep consuming and learning from. But very quickly, I could see how when I would post something that to me just felt so run of the mill, would get such a huge, huge response of people being seen, feeling validated, right? Feeling connected, not alone, right? And you start to realize your content isn't even about you. Yes, it's an opportunity for you to express yourself and to tap into creativity. It's an opportunity for personal growth and to growing as a person and expanding as a person. But it ultimately becomes about the people that are consuming it and the impact that has and the community that you build through that. And then finally, confidence comes from action. Okay. The more you practice using your voice, the more confident and grounded you'll feel in it. Right? It's not about, remember what I said that when you're creating content, time isn't linear, right? It's not about thinking about it. It's not about one day. It's not about, writing and creating, but never publishing. When you get into action, that's what builds your confidence. And confidence also comes from, and I want to talk about unshakable confidence. Unshakable self-confidence comes from being challenged. It comes from learning and growing and evolving. It comes from getting it wrong, right? And so, action begets confidence. Action begets growth. Action begets community. When I wasn't raised religious. I'm not a religious person, but I remember when I was younger, I was like, I'm going to read the Bible. I want to see what all the fuss is about. And I didn't get past that first part where it was like 50 pages of this person begat that person and that person begat that person. But I learned the word begets as a little kid. And I was like, well, whatever. I'd have been like 8. I'm like, I know that's little. Anyways, I remember reading that word and being like, what is this word? I like this word. And I have been using it ever since. It's a great word. It's a fantastic word. I love words. Okay. Action begets everything that you want. Everything that you want in this life, in your business, in relationships is on the other side of action. Action is the rainbow. It's on the other side of that, okay? We can't think about it. We can't hope and pray and wish and think our way into what we want. We have to be in action. So a couple of questions. I had some questions queued up for us today, and literally nobody is on. I'm sitting here like thinking as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, am I on the wrong link? Because we had a ton of people registered for today. I'm like, am I on the wrong link? But you know what it is? It's just summer. Don't panic, friends. If your business slows down in the summer, it's just summer. I don't want you to be here. Go outside. Go have some fun in the sun. Okay, so some questions for you to think about. Obviously, we're not going to have a conversation around this, but that's fine. You can journal, you can hit pause, you can think about these, you can take these questions and think about them as you go throughout your day over the next few weeks. Let these questions bounce, okay? First one, what stops you from speaking up or being visible in your business? Basic question, right? What stops you? What is blocking? What is getting in the way? What is the self-talk? What is the fear? What is the unknown? Number 2, what would you love to say but haven't found the words or courage to say it yet? Now that is something I've been thinking a lot about since my surgery. A lot. Because I have a lot to say. And I will tell you that my biggest fear is hurting people's feelings, of alienating people, of making people feel bad. And so I really censor myself a lot because I know with my spicy brain, I can speak in a very direct way and I can forget that people have feelings. I know that. And then after the fact, I'm like, oof. I also know that in a society where speaking directly is not the norm, people who are not used to being spoken to in a direct way, that can bring up a lot of stuff for them that can then get projected onto the speaker, the person, right? And so there's a lot of that comes up for me. And one of the places I do, when I get frustrated, that's where I find the wall that I have to bust through. And one of the things that I've been really frustrated with lately is the performativity of neurotypicality, of allisticness, right? Of non-spicy brainness. And the performance of that. It used to be the performance of heterosexuality, and then it was the performance of womanhood, right? And then it was the performance of being a good fat person, diet and exercise, right? Hating my own body. That's a part of the performance, right? Right now, the performance that I'm feeling most frustrated with is performing allisticness, neurotypicality. We might call that masking. And we still mask. Everyone masks. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody masks, right? We all do it. But I just am feeling frustrated around that and going, I don't want to anymore. I want to say what I want to say. I want to make art and write and put it out there. I want to be more direct in what I'm doing with entrepreneurs. I want to say, if you're ready to get serious about building a business, not farting around and treating it like a hobby, let's go. But then I don't want people to feel bad because the hobby stage is a part of the process, right? And so for you, what would you love to say? Where are you feeling frustrated, trapped, caged in, that you would love to bust out and just say it? I'm not saying to go say it. I have to smooth the edges. I used to teach this years ago. I would teach the frustrated draft and then the softer draft, or softer final, right? Like the frustrated version and the softer version. Where are you feeling frustrated, trapped, caged, suppressed, oppressed? Write it out. Write it, or talk it out, and then go, okay, now that I got that off, because again, a lot of that's going to be projection and internal stuff coming up. Now that I got that out, what's the softer version? What's the part that's coming from love? What's the part that I actually mean? Not the part that's the wounded inner child, freaking out, right? All right, you can see I'm processing on this one a lot myself these days. All right, number 3, it's because I'm starting to create more content. And what happens when we create more content? This stuff comes up. Number 3, how do you want to be seen or known in your industry or community? How do you want to be seen? What do you want to be known for? How do you want people to perceive you, right? Everyone in my community says the same thing. Tough love wrapped in sugar. Lindsay gives me tough love. I have a client, she's always saying, Lindsay kicks my butt. They're always kicking my butt. People will joke around and say, I yelled at them. No, I don't actually yell. I don't actually kick their butts. But I don't let people off the hook. Like when we're working together, I don't let you off the hook. I'll push you. If we're doing some copywriting, or you're showing me a sales page, or you're showing me an email, and if I can see that there's an opportunity to go deeper because it's very surface, you're not really saying anything, you're relying on buzzwords, I can tell that AI wrote it. Like I'll push to go deeper. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper, right? If you are getting distracted in busy work and you're avoiding the thing you have to do, I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to say, okay, tell me the end goal of this. Tell me what your goals are for your business this month. Is that going to serve that? Right? If somebody is getting stuck in a loop of fear or self-doubt or beating themselves up or hiding, I will gently call that out. So I notice a pattern of this. How do you feel about that? A lot of times when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'll say, go talk to your therapist, go talk to your business coach, because I don't myself necessarily want to dive into all that stuff, but I'll say things like, one of the patterns I've been recognizing is this. This is an opportunity, if you'd like to bring that up with your therapist, to explore what's going on for you there, right? But I will. And so that gets perceived as tough love being yelled at. I'm not going to lie, it kind of hurts my feelings when you guys say that. That I yell at you or kick your butt. But I understand what you're saying. It's because we are not used to living in a world where people are so direct and frank with us. But I also know that you all love it. You all, the people that like it, the people in my world, because what did I say? We are not for everybody. And not everybody is for us. So the people that are in my world and stay in my world is the people that want that. They want to be challenged. They want to look differently. They want to be pushed to go deeper, to be better. Right? And so they'll say that. They'll say, no, we love when you're direct. We love your spicy rants when I go and get ranty. No, we love that you call us out and help move us to be bigger, to be deeper. Right? And so when I think of that, it's that thing of like, oh, that makes me a bit nervous. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I don't want people to feel bad. And yet that's what people love and value about being in my space. There is a relief because they're hearing me call out something that they are feeling. Now, I kind of feel sometimes like the eye of Sauron, like, especially if we're in a group and I can see somebody, it's like my eye just is like, whoop, what's going on here? What's this? Right? And they're in that hot seat, Oh my gosh, we have so much fun in my stuff. Okay, in all my communities and things. Okay, so enough about me. You're getting some ideas, right, of some of the things that come up for me. So for you, how do you want to be seen? How do you want to be known? What do you want people saying about you? And okay, I'm going to take that statement back because what I want people saying about me, they do say, like, oh my gosh, like we unlocked so fast and now I'm making money. Now my business is growing. Things make sense. I have so much more clarity. People do get that, but we can't control what people say about us. What I would rather hear is what I'd rather you ask yourself is, what are people saying about me? How do people feel when they engage with me or my content? What are they telling their friends and their if you serve entrepreneurs, their biz besties about me? What are they saying about me? Right? Tune into that. Use that as like a part of your rainbow, part of your like action, part of that bridge from where you are to where you want to be with creating content, with using your voice, right? Go, okay, they're saying this. Let me reflect on that. What does that mean? What do they mean when they say that? Right? And again, the only way to find that out is to get into action, is to start using your voice, right? All right, number 4, if you weren't afraid of backlash, what's one opinion or story that you'd share? If you weren't afraid of backlash, what's one opinion or story you'll share? Around here I am anti-capitalist. Actually, I'm also an anarchist. I remember ages ago, was a TikTok friend. We were having a call and we were talking about anti-capitalist, and she said, you're not an anti-capitalist, Lindsay, you're an anarchist. And it took me 2 full years to actually finally look that up and see what it meant. But it really bounced in me because I always associated anarchy and anarchists with violence, anti-establishment, anti-government, burning it all down, chaos. That was how I associated with, because why? That's what we're fed, right? But when you actually look up the definition, let me look it up real quick. I want to use the exact words. Hang on one second. The organization of society on the basis of voluntary cooperation without political institutions or hierarchical government, right? Then there's anarchism. Anarchism, a political theory advocating the abolition of hierarchical government and the organization of society on a voluntary cooperative basis without recourse to force or compulsion. Okay, so we are looking at a peaceful society based on cooperation, collaboration, and no compulsion, no force, right? Compulsory heterosexual and lesbian continuum. I gotta grab, friends, let me get a second and grab that link. Where did I share? I shared it on my LinkedIn this morning. Let me grab that link real quick. I gotta put it out in my email. Let me see if any of these notifications. Yes, okay, perfect. People are already commenting on it. Great. Let me grab this podcast. Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna share it in the chat. Oh, I just realized that this one didn't go. Did this not go through? Hang on. What's happening? My chat isn't going through. Oh shoot, my chat isn't going through. Okay, I'll go back and share it in the I'll share it after the fact in the notes here. But the fact that my chat isn't going through is making me wonder if my live isn't going through. But it shows me live on YouTube. Oh man, I'm gonna feel so bad if there's a bunch of people on right now and you're trying to engage with me. I don't know what's going on. Oh no, I'm gonna feel so bad. But honestly, that would be so perfect. If there's anybody watching live and you are trying to chat with me, I hope that you guys are having the best conversation in the comment section in the chat because I'm not seeing it. That would make sense because I'm shocked that nobody is here. Oh, friends. Anyways, okay. So around here, right, we talk about anti-capitalism, anarchy. This is something that I'm really playing with right now, especially as I'm moving into creating some content for myself, like creative content. I was even thinking of this concept of like sales anarchy, right? Because I love talking about sales. It's all about selling, right? Anyways, it's a fun thing. But these are the things that I was really nervous to talk about in the beginning. I was really nervous because when I would say anti-capitalism combined with entrepreneurship, right? Or anti-capitalism in business, the association of capitalism and business is like this, when in reality they're two different things, right? Capitalism is like a structure. It's a structure of exploitation of human resources, of our earth's resources, of growth over growth over growth for the sake of growth, no matter how much harm and destruction is caused, right? Whereas business is like commerce, is like exchange for goods and services for money, or other services like bartering programs, right? Business, commerce, this has existed forever, right? Capitalism is new, right? And so I was nervous about that. But then when I started talking more and more, the people who already were in that space or already were open to it and on that path were like, yeah. Like one of the things I talk about a lot is the book Do Nothing. It is a fantastic book. I'm going to pull it up right now so that I can share it afterwards because apparently I can't share anything in the chat right now, but I will go back and put it in the description in the notes. Okay, so the Do Nothing book, what is it? It says, hang on. Yeah, how to break away from overworking, overdoing, and underliving. And I say that this is a sneaky gateway into anti-capitalism because it doesn't overtly say that, but it gets you to start reflecting on the way you live and the way our world and society is structured and start questioning that, which is to me a gateway into that anti-capitalist realization, right? So anyways, if I think about the things that I was afraid to share, it was that. But then as I started talking about it, it attracted and pulled in the people who were aligned and eliminated the people who weren't. And at the end of the day, a part of finding and using your voice, that is what it is. It's pulling in the people that get it, that want it, and repelling the people that don't, right? And then finally, number 5, last question. What's one small way you've used your voice that you're proud of? What's one small way that you've used your voice that you are proud of? I'm trying to think of a way. There is no small way anymore because I have been using my voice for so long. But let me think of something that's new. something that's new that freaked me out. I mean, I just talked about the anti-capitalist piece. You know what? Even that piece in that podcast where I said, no, I didn't always think the right way about gender because I didn't understand it and I was having my own internal battle. Even that, it's a vulnerable share. It's a share that doesn't paint me in the best light, right? As this like perfectly evolved person, as if I've always been that way, as if you've always been this way, right? Every year, if we are open to challenging our beliefs, challenging the way we see the world, challenging our beliefs that we're always right and our way is the perfect way, and you know what I mean, like if we're open to that, we become better people, we elevate, we become more inclusive, as I said, more compassionate, more empathetic, more connected, right? So it's okay if your origin story is like maybe you were kind of shitty. That's okay. Everyone's kind of shitty, right? I'm still kind of shitty sometimes, right? Like there are things that I can't see that I'm still getting wrong that I'm going to continue to evolve on, right? One of the things that I'm working on right now is challenging myself to listen to people who have different ideas and beliefs and opinions and not just shut them down as being idiots, and being like, well, hang on, let me look at this from their perspective, right? What is this for them? What is this about? Because I want to develop that skill of having productive conversations and working on my own compassion and empathy, even if I like totally disagree with somebody. That's something I'm working on right now, right? So for you, digressing, what's one small way you've used your voice that you're proud of? All right, a couple of action steps, and then we're going to wrap it up. I'm seriously, because I have like a million notifications on my phone. Oh, they all just collapsed. And so I'm so curious if people are like, yeah, dude, we're here. We can't get through. I'm going to feel so bad. I love our hangs together. I'm going to feel so bad. Okay, action steps. Number 1, choose your outlet. Pick one way to start using your voice this week. Write a post, share a story, speak in a group chat. You can even journal. You don't have to share it publicly, right? I've been doing a lot of writing in my phone right now, just things that I may or may not turn into something. Just write. You could even like go stand in front of your mirror and just talk. Pretend you're on stage somewhere and just talk, right? But I want you to pick an outlet. I want you to find an outlet for you that feels good and just pour into it. It doesn't have to be public. All right, number 2, name the fear. Write down the thing that you're afraid might happen if you speak up, right? Then ask, is this fear true, likely, or something I can prepare for? We talked a lot about that today. We all hold these fears. We hold these anxieties. We hold these people-pleasing tendencies. And if we just give it a little bit of light, if we put it into the light of day, if we speak it, if we write it down, it goes so far to neutralize it. And then it allows us to look at it written down. Look at it. Is this true? Is this likely? Is this something I can prepare for? Because sometimes it is, right? Like we talked about this in the imposter syndrome. And I have a great YouTube video on this, and I'll put it in the comments after. And it's sort of my process of managing and dealing with imposter syndrome. But one of the biggest things is get it down, recognize the self-talk, and then write it down, and then challenge it. Is it true? And if it is true, what can you do about it? Again, it's okay to not be perfect at everything. What can you do about it? All right, number 3, use the mirror trick. All right, practice saying one bold truth or idea out loud to yourself in the mirror. Now, I know it's going to feel weird and uncomfortable. It's like, to me, it mirrors people who are on a podcast or make a YouTube video or something and they can't watch it back. They can't listen to it back, right? Because they hate hearing their own voice or they're cringing at what they said. Just as a side note, that points out a great opportunity for some self-acceptance and self-love that needs to maybe be fostered inside. But if you can speak into a mirror, share a bold opinion, right? It develops this muscle memory, right? It helps you get over the cringe. It helps you, like, I want to say, like, see yourself from outside yourself, right? And like I don't know how to say it, it separates you out of the noise in here and helps you see yourself and go, Okay, that was kind of fun, actually. All right, number 4, find your safe space. Share your thoughts in a trusted community like this one before going public, right? Practicing in a safe space is really powerful for helping you, like, again, develop the muscle memory, the mental muscle memory, the like, I was gonna say tongue muscle memory, like the verbal muscle memory, right? It's gonna help you, like almost be able to go on autopilot. I remember like 20 something years ago, somebody saying, I heard this on a stage somewhere, that a leader is ready to speak at a moment's notice. A leader can get up and just speak, right there. If you're at something and someone says, hey, Lindsay, come on up and tell us about this, right? And I remember hearing that and being like, oh, that's cool. Okay, how can I start to mentally be prepared wherever I go to speak on anything, right? And I developed sort of like a pattern, like an intro, middle, and call to action, right? Like conclusion. Like I was like, okay, I can develop a pattern around how I would talk and what I would say and how I'd pull things in and the story I would share, right? And so this like practicing allows you to find your rhythm, your way of storytelling, your way of connecting with people, because your way and my way are going to be different, right? So practice. And then number 5, set a visibility date. I would love for you to block 15 to 30 minutes this week to create or share one piece of Friday. Next week, to create one piece of content that expresses your voice. Start small, but start, right? Action begets confidence. Action begets what? Like begets connection, begets community, begets more action. So just start. What did we say? When it comes to sharing content, creating that kind of stuff online, time isn't linear. Just start. All right, friends, that is it from me today. This has been, well, really fun for me. I feel bad for folks that if you are on the chat and not here with me, I don't know what happened there. Anyways, remember that we are doing our list building funnel accelerator. List funnel building accelerator. So we're going to be building your email list funnels next week. So if you haven't already got your ticket, grab your ticket. You will get a welcome email. You'll get some stuff to help you get prepped. And then we're going to get right to work. If you aren't already on my email list, you can go ahead and scan that QR code to get on my email list. Come play with us there. We will be here. I think I'm going to skip Shop Talk for August. I'm going to see. You know what? I'm going to see. Get on. I was going to give you the link to sign up, but I don't want you to sign up for August in case I cancel, and then I'm going to feel really bad that I'm canceling on you. So just get on my email list, that QR code in the top left corner there, and you will find out if we're doing another Shop Talk. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. The other thing you can do is share in the comment section. What kind of shop talks do you want us to cover? What kind of group discussions do you want to get into? And then next time, actually, we'll have a group discussion. It won't just be me. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Yep. Join our accelerator. Sign up for my scripts. I think that's it. You guys, it's the summer. Go have fun. Go play with your friends. Go hang out. If you want to watch some content, you can go through my old lives. We've got lots of lives with some great group conversations. We even have a few on there with some old hot seat business coaching sessions if you want to get nerdy and watch me answer people's questions. You can go to my main video tab and you can watch some of those videos. They're older. I've got a whole list of videos I want to start making, and that's what I'm going to be working on this summer, is starting to get some of these videos out. Just get started. We're going to be moving our community to YouTube. So I've been wrestling with where I want to build our community for years now. We do a Facebook group. It used to be very active. It's not active now, mostly because I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't think anyone does. And so we're going to move our community to YouTube. So you need to be a subscriber to be able to participate. If you are on your phone, there's an actual community tab. On desktop, for some reason, there's not. But you can just go to the posts section and you'll be able to, again, there's nothing much there right now, but it's going to start getting built up and we'll be able to engage and hang out and talk and share and ask questions and all that kind of stuff in there. So that will be, our community will be starting to live on YouTube. I'm going to get that kind of started this summer. And then by September, we're going to be fully on here as a community. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed. That way you can actually engage with us and interact with us. Obviously, give me some algorithm love, like this video, leave some comments, right? And share it with people. If you have people in your world, especially entrepreneurs who you know would dig this, share it with them. All right, friends, that's it for me. Go have a wonderful, awesome, fantastic day. Fantastic rest of your summer. I'll be in and out. We'll be making things happen. And yeah, if you're going to be joining us for the list building funnel, I cannot wait. We will see you then. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Big hugs. Love y'all.